Great. Hi, everyone. So we can't see you. We did end up doing this on a webinar format, and I apologize. I could have made it a meeting, but with Zoom, you have to decide that right away, and so we didn't set it up that way. So there is a chat. Thank you, John, for saying hi. If anyone else would like to, and maybe just your position on our board. This is a private webinar for the California League of Esports program for the California League of Schools Board of Directors. So with me today, I have Katie Sandberg, so you all know, our Director of Innovation, and Alan Satomer, who is the CEO of Mastery Coding. So we're going to go ahead and start. I did promise you that this would be short. We're asking for a half an hour of your time. If Alan does tend to get into this and there's so much going on and it is very exciting, feel free to stay on. But if you do have to leave after the half an hour, we completely understand. So we do appreciate you being here. This is not only is this an informational webinar on our new program, the California League of Esports, but it's just a small State of the League address that I want to give you regarding our current situation. And so as you all know, our current circumstances right now are not great. We do recognize that you are going through some incredibly difficult times of your own right now. So we do understand that. But as you know, we need your help now more than ever. And so just to tell you a little bit about what is going on, we've had two wonderful programs start this past week. Our new teacher masterclass, which was headlined by Alex Kejitani last Monday, started, but also our fall conference was the kickoff was with John Carippo last Thursday. Both of these events are really spectacular, and our problem as a league has not ever been producing great events. We are really good at doing that, but I do want to put it in context for you. We had 17 people sign up for our new teacher masterclass. 13 of those were from Weaver Unified, thanks to our own John Curry. Our fall conference, we had 102 paid participants, only 12 of which were not from Moreno Valley Unified. And so thank you to Dr. Martin Rex Kedziora for that. And so as much as we appreciate their support, we can't survive on that. And, so one thing that we have going against us right now, I feel, is that our target audience, being educators, they are in a unique situation. So if we were doing professional development events right now for firefighters or for dentists, they're not on Zoom all day long. And the one thing that we keep hearing over and over is that educators right now are Zoomed out. And so we are having a problem with the attendance, and we get that. And so I am personally concerned that the in-person professional development event, the way that we have known it in the past, isn't going to come back anytime soon. And I don't believe that it's going to come back and look the same as it did in the past. And so unless instruction returns to in-person learning, I don't believe that we're going to be able to succeed with our online programs. So with that said, we have to have other plans, obviously, and that's partly why we're here today, is to talk to you about one of those plans, which is the California League of Esports. But one important aspect that I do want to point out is that, and I've said this before in a lot of my board updates, that fundraising is the responsibility of the board of directors in nonprofit organizations. However, we have been a unique organization in that we haven't had to require that. All of you have some fundraising experience through gaining sponsorships for each of your regional Educator of the Year programs. But fundraising hasn't been something that we require because our professional development events carry us as an organization. And so not only do we serve a greater number of educators through those events, but that is also what sustains the organization. So without those, obviously we can't we can't survive. So if you didn't already know this, part of this webinar is a little bit of a hard sell to you as our board, but it's also a practice run for us, right? If we can't sell this product to our own board, how much success are we going to have selling it elsewhere? Even if you don't purchase this program from us, you are our ambassadors. You are all a spokesperson for the California League of Schools. And so we want you to have as much information on this program, and we want you to see it through our eyes, and what a great opportunity that we think it is for the league. One other thing is that also, if you have your own esports program already, I'd like you to consider still purchasing this for maybe a different school and comparing the two. Alan is going to talk to you today about how much better this program is than any other one out there. So please keep that in mind. So just quickly, a little bit of background if you don't know. So Alan actually did come to us. He had applied to present at our fall conference, which is happening last week and this week. This is I'm really proud of my little fall background, so I kept it up for today. So we have the final session tomorrow. But when I saw that Alan had come to us wanting to present, we ended up talking, and he said, Kathy, you know, I have this great program and it's called Pathway Esports. And we started talking, and you know, I just thought that it was a great idea. But what you should know, actually you should already know this, but it's worth saying again that, you know, Katie, she is our Director of Innovations, but what she is really known for is she is absolutely a masterful grant writer. And she is a lot of the reason why we exist right now the way that we do, because, you know, professional development kind of went downhill several years ago, but Katie has written multiple grants and has been awarded multiple grants for the California League of Schools worth millions of dollars over several years. And you know, you don't get to win those kinds of education grants without understanding the needs of educators. And so the reason I tell you that is because I trust Katie's opinion very much. And so I asked her to come on to one of the conversations with Alan, and he went over the thing with her. And so I've asked her to be here today because I want you to hear from her as well as what, you know, what she saw in this program, and so that you're not just hearing from me. So Katie, would you mind telling them a little bit about your experience?
Of course. Hello, everybody. So good to see your names. I wish I could see your faces, but it's really fun to see everybody's names. And oh my gosh, yeah. So I think I heard from Alan, and I think I was like an instant evangelist, just like add water. I'm there. I think it just is so great. My son Parker just turned 8 years old, and like almost every other kid out there, and I know a lot of you have either kids still at home or grandkids, and so I know you know this too. Kids love video gaming. It's not going to change. They love it. Even if they love reading and other things, they love video games. And so it seemed to me that this is just a partnership that came from heaven during COVID, because it just meets so many of our needs. Students, as we keep hearing over and over again from teachers, are disengaged. They're not showing up. They're not turning on their camera on Zoom. They're just plain MIA in a lot of cases, especially in low-income communities. What's great about this program is it brings equity, it brings connection, it brings competition, things kids need so much right now. And especially with COVID probably keeping us back into purple for a while, it's just, to me, it seems like a no-brainer. It's also a really low price point. It's basically the same cost as 3 sets of football gear for a whole year's license for as many kids as you can accommodate at your school site. And he's got a great curriculum. It builds SEL, soft skills, career tech ed. It's really great. He's been so generous with the percentage that goes to the league, and I think we're just grateful for that. And then finally, to me, it's just, I've been waiting and waiting for kind of like our next big thing that we can position for grants, and trying to make things fit that didn't quite. It just fell in our lap. It's perfect. Gamers and game developers tend to be white, affluent males. There's an acknowledged dearth of research on the topic of gamers, and to me, this is like with our existing schools watch system, everything we could put together, we have this perfect setup for partnerships to measure kids participating in gaming, especially during COVID possibly, and see how this feels for them. Does it increase their sense of well-being, their connection to school? There's so many things we could measure, and it could be really useful. And there's just recent research that came out that gaming does have a net positive effect for student well-being. That just came out, I think, last week. So anyway, I'll stop talking. But it's good stuff to me. Good to see everybody.
Thank you, Katie. I really appreciate that. And so, and yeah, the grant opportunity for this is huge, and we won't even get into that. But I would like to now turn it over to Alan, because I would like you all to know exactly what this is and what the program is that we're talking about. And Alex is the one to explain it to you. So thank you, Alan.
You're on mute.
There we go. The first Zoom mistake of the day, right? I'm on mute. Anyway, thank you guys for the nice introduction. And some of you I've met before. I keynoted. I was with Alex Kajitani and Katie McKnight. We did a big thing that, back in the prehistoric days when you could congregate live, right? And I've been a fan. I was a classroom teacher forever and ever and ever. And it wasn't until I was named California's Teacher of the Year that things sort of like expanded into these opportunities and so forth. Then I became an innovative curriculum writer and so forth right here. And one of the things that is very sort of like dear to my heart has always been professional development, because as many of you know, when you work in, especially in the Title I schools and so forth like that, you're very often sometimes feeling like you're on an island. And if it wasn't for professional organizations like California League of, it was the California League of Middle Schools and stuff, when I first kind of got involved with it, like I kind of go back in a way. And the support and things like that was just like so important to me. Just talking about socio-emotional well-being, skill evolution, and your organization's got a really long history of providing top quality stuff. And now you're in the pickle of all pickles, like many, many, many nonprofits are. So the thing is that I ended up starting this company because I was going to start it as a nonprofit, except for the fact of you become sort of like dependent in a way on grants and sort of the support of benefactors and so forth. And it was one of those like, and we ended up going because I found an investor who was willing to take on the burden and things like that. But I tell that story because when COVID hit, it didn't just impact nonprofits, it impacted Mastery Coding. And we almost went under. And I mean, I've got my daughter's college savings into this company. Like, I mean, I'm all in right here. And my investor, who is a very smart, sharp person who has a philanthropical heart, but he's in it kind of, it's not a charity in a way, right? He wants to make good impact and contribute. And he had to take a really hard look in a post-COVID world. Is this worth still supporting? My baby, my dream, my company, my life, my everything. And he took a look at what we were doing and he said, I'm in, right? And he said, you need to recognize though, that you're about to cross a desert. Okay. And you've got to kind of get skinny and you got to pack enough water and things like that. But this will end and you will be stronger, even though you probably can't see it when you come out on the other side. And that's the kind of support I had right there. So then Kathy, like I said, we go long time back, things like that. After having done the keynote, we keep in touch and so forth. And then I was going to present and so forth. And then the idea of like understanding the struggles of the California League of Schools and things like that, I sort of started talking to Katie and Kathy about, well, what if we craft something that can be a win for the organization, a win for the kids who are like, I got 2 kids at home going through Zoom school on lockdown right now. And a win for the teachers. Like these kids aren't even showing up to class and they're disengaged or they're Zoom bombed, right? A win for the schools and a win for the parents. Because what are these kids doing if they're not, they're gaming, right? So with all of that, could we put something that had the efficacy and credibility that your organization is known for, and yet have the sizzle and the shazam that's going to make the kids feel like they're learning something, but they're having a great time. So that right there, with that, I'm gonna share my screen with everybody, and I'm going to show you kind of where we are and what we're doing. So this is the partnership that we came up with, and we named it the California League of Esports. Okay, so I want to start with good news. I always want to start with good news, right? Here is the good news. Okay, that we only started 2 months ago, and we've raised over $20,000 already for the California League of Schools. That is no short a thing right here, and it's purely been done by the sheer dint of will of Kathy and Katie and the team. Okay, like these guys are fighting for their financial lives in ways that, and as a board, like I said, I had to go to my board and things like that and explain, man, like, wow, it's rough out there. And it's really hard to go with hat in hand. But, you know, for me, it's easy to speak to you because you're a board member. You got your head, you got your own stuff going on. But today's call is about recognizing that the California League of Schools is in a very precarious financial situation, but they have earned an opportunity to dig themselves out and cross the desert, right? And when things come back online, they're going to be an organization. A lot of them are going to fold, and we can see how they can be reimagined and stronger. And that's kind of like all the thought that went into this right here about talking about, you know, like the just reimagination's a word Kathy and I have, you know, shared many times in our conversations. So esports. Why esports? First of all, esports bigger than the World Series, which was just on, like more people are watching, playing, things like that. College scholarships. Hundreds of universities are offering millions of dollars in college scholarships right now to esports athletes. Okay. So the current landscape is basically, you know, millions of kids are home gaming. They would love, love, love an esports team on their campus. And we offer this virtual, remote, so it can be distance learning. It can be hybrid if schools go back to, you know, being half on, half off. It can be live on site. Nobody's going to miss a beat right there. And schools, you know, but they just don't even know how to start and run a team. And they want a trusted sort of guide, a Sherpa, if you would, to take them through to get them onboarded. Now, a lot of schools, you see significant, I talked about like attendance. ADA is how schools get paid. And these kids aren't logging into pre-algebra. They're not coming to history class. But you put up Fortnite or you put up Overwatch, right? Like suddenly they're logging in, and you'll see that like we're trying to channel that energy and steer them into a positive path. So what we have is a toolkit that, first of all, for new schools, will just get them the turnkey basics. Form a team, run a team, provide academic and career opportunities, all under one roof. You know, I've done a lot of professional development. Our guys are great right there. We're onboarding. Everybody gets involved with us, is really, really happy because, I coach the baseball team. I coach the mock trial team. And when you're silly enough to raise your hand to volunteer for that kind of thing, very often you get no support and you're on your own and you got to figure it out. We're not doing that to the people who end up coaching. And you will find that you got a lot of young teachers, or just a lot of teachers that are gamers themselves. So this is like the kind of club or whatever that they would love to lead, or the STEM teacher, because we funnel them into computer science. So there's a lot of pathways in right there. We conceptualize all of our esports through an academic prism of making it a gateway. Sure, it's fun, but what's more significant is the opportunity, the learning. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we're availing kids of apprenticeship opportunities, about career exploration and things like that, where they can see how to get involved, follow your passion, right? You love gaming. You could spend the next 45 years of your life being, in this world right here. And we're kind of trying to encourage that right there. The other thing is that I talked about the university scholarships, but the minimum GPAs, you can't just stay home playing Rocket League and not do your math homework and say, but I swear I'm keeping up with school. No, it doesn't work like that, right? And it just functions like every other sports team. Another very significant thing, because I know there's people who are all about the research and the data and things like that. The number one link between kids who drop out of school or flunk out of school is no tether to the campus through extracurricular activities. They don't find a place in the photography club. They don't find a place in drama. They don't find a place in band, right? These traditionally disenfranchised students, esports is a place where we can, I mean, equity, inclusion, all of the really big things. These aren't slogans. How are you pragmatically reaching out and courting these students? And then how are you doing it virtually in Zoom school environment right here? So this is kind of what we're talking about offering. And of course, every game they play was built with code. So the natural next step is learning to program, if that should be an itch they want to scratch. So this is kind of like what we're doing right here is we are offering esports as a vehicle to awaken the idea that you can become whatever you want to be in this world. And gaming is a brand new landscape that if you like to draw, maybe you're a graphic designer. You like to tinker with the hardware, you're thinking about auto mechanics, maybe it's IT and that kind of support right there. If you're into like the shoutcasting, or you want to be a content creator, or maybe you're just good with people and you want to corporate sponsorships, or you like to code and want to learn to code, the software designers. So there's so many different elements that are included. And I know Kathy said that some of you might be using and doing esports. And like I said, I'm a big fan of it. And I never knock anybody, but I can promise you, if you give me 15 minutes on a side note to look under the hood, the academic credibility of what we're doing is unparalleled in the school esports universe. Okay. It's just like, I mean, I've got cross-disciplinary standards-based lesson plans. Okay. And it's just, you got to be a real teacher to know how to put that stuff together. And if the kids are going to bring so much love and energy to the games, I'm going to use that energy to amplify their skill sets. Okay. And that's what we do in the program. I'm not going to get too much further into it, but I will promise you that this is not just, oh, so they get to game. No, not at all. This is really about deep career and technical education learning at all different levels. So the pedagogical schema is that we awaken their passion. We sort of tap into the curiosity through exploring the designs. We teach them new skills, and then we put them on a pathway to certifications, and even eventually the possibility of careers opens up. We support a wide swath of games. All of them are rated T for teen or below. Schools could have 9 teams, they could have 1 team, they could accommodate 600 kids, they could accommodate 25 kids. It's one site license, as Katie mentioned. It's ridiculously affordable. It includes all the professional development, all the support, and so forth. But what you're seeing here is grades 6 through 12. What's the most popular game out there right now? Among Us. We are the first people out there. We just came up with a game and learn holiday camp right now. These kids love Among Us. If you have young people, right? I mean, it's just come out of nowhere to be the most popular video game out there. Once again, we want to seize the opportunity to, if these kids are getting a game, because it is a critical thinking game right here. So we have a camp that we put together with 1 or 2 week options and morning and afternoon time slots right there. We will do the hosting. We'll have the counselors right there, entirely virtual, ages 7 to 14 and so forth. And what we do is that it's basically predicated on 3 pillars. We will, first of all, the campers will learn to play well, right? They will become better at, the deduction, strategy, knowledge, all of that within the game. Then we talk about productive and healthy gaming habits, right? First of all, there's very real injuries physically that happen to people who game too much. Then also just the idea of got to get out of the chair, got to exercise, got to stretch, got to watch your diet, got to hydrate, right? All of that. But then there's the mental awareness, right? The emotional triggers when you're so locked in the game, being imbalanced, the calmness, and then the critical thinking, the collaborating with team members, communication, creativity. Like we do deep dives in all of this right here. And then we take you on career explorations, and we're funneling, like I said, into STEM connections, awakening them to emerging technologies and career and so forth. We do career spotlights on different people and so forth. We ultimately want to put them on a pathway to these different things, these, like we're trying to just matriculate right there. Why? Because in the state of California right now, unemployment's all over the place. I mean, these numbers are crazy high, yet everybody's hiring because every company is now a technology company, and the software engineers and the programmers and the gamers and from Netflix, whatever. Like, if you learn the skills that we're talking about teaching to these students through the California League of Esports, we're talking about breaking the cycle of intergenerational poverty. That's the big aim, right? Like, we're going to go for the grand enchilada here, and it's not just gaming for gaming's sake. Really important. How easy is it for the school? Schools are already doing this stuff, except for the one thing. We just had one district in California signed up every middle school and high school. All like 14 schools signed up. And what did they use? They used the athletic department budget because they're not putting kids on buses. There's no basketball games, right? Football, things like that. So they suddenly there are funds. It's like, this is so cheap. The guy's like, can I pre-buy for next year so that we have this right here? And they're like, yeah, I guess you can right there. And so this is the tool to get the engagement, to get so how, the different pots of money from the Title I funds, there's PTA, there's STEM funds. I mentioned the athletic directors, principals, right? So cost is not really a factor. It's initiative and wherewithal to try it out. And that's what Kathy and Katie sort of asked me to come here to sort of do, is just sort of like ask you to, like, it's really hard. She used the term hard sell earlier. It's so, these guys work so hard. If you only could know how hard it is for Kathy to say, you're my board, push is coming to shove, I need your support, right? That's just kind of where the state of the union is for the California League of Schools right now. So obviously I'll take any questions or things like that. But Kathy, I'll put it back to you.
Thank you so much, Alan. Thank you for condensing. You did a wonderful 1-hour webinar with us on September 30th, and you basically just condensed that down to 15 minutes. So I thank you so much for doing that. I did want to mention one other thing, that John Curry also has purchased the esports for his for one of his schools. And so I've asked him if he wouldn't mind coming on. I'm going to just promote him real quick to panelists and just share what he said. So John, you might have to turn on your own video and your own microphone. There you are.
All right.
Hi John.
There. How's the volume? Okay.
Yep, you sound great.
Okay. Great. Wonderful. So I got redirected there for a minute. Kathy, what did you want me to address?
Oh no, I just wanted you to add what you were putting on in the chat, that what you're going to be doing with your esports.
Yeah, one of the things that we think is started a plethora of, and we have kids signing up for virtual clubs like crazy. This is perfect for us. And we think that virtual clubs, we want to continue actually our virtual clubs afterwards. And it'll help for those students who have to get home immediately because their parents, need them home, or, for those students who just don't want to do the competitions when the competitions come around. I will guarantee you that for middle school, will have as many teams as 300 students express interest. So our challenge right now is finding, we would love to take this all the way down to the 4th and 5th grade level, but we don't know if that's possible yet. So we're standing at the ready, and we're ready to go. And we challenge any other schools and districts out there right now.
Well, John, that's why we have Among Us, because we have a lot of people that want that upper elementary to have an opportunity. And one of the things that Kathy and Katie and I were speaking of prior to starting today's webinar was that Among Us is very unique in that the gender balance between boys and girls, there's an equality that you're seeing. There's basically a lot of girls are playing Among Us. And that gives us the opportunity to funnel girls who code, girls in STEM, girls, without math stigma, like all that stuff, I mean, everybody knows the research base, but how do you pragmatically put it into action when you're a school leader? So that's what, that's how Among Us has been conceptualized.
Yep, that's great. And so I do want to add, so if you do have any questions, we do have a Q&A function. I'm sorry I didn't tell you that sooner. If anyone does have any, or you can also raise your hand in the Zoom function. Yes, this video will be available. Carl just asked for a copy of it, so we are recording it and we will send it out to you. Please feel free to share it. We have other great videos on our website, so it's leagueofschools.org/esports. You can find a link to other videos. Also, I don't think if we mentioned the price, and I realize that, it's all in our head, but I'm not sure that we did mention. So it is $29.95, so it's $2,995 for the year per school, but that covers unlimited students at the school site. Yeah, and we don't really, we promote this at the fine print at the bottom. There is even a further discount for smaller districts, correct, Alan? That you can even get a discount beyond that for the size of your school. So that is available. So again, it is affordable, and I hope that you see the value of this. I really appreciate you joining us today, because we really do believe in this. And again, the professional development world has changed, and I worry about it not coming back anytime soon. So we just need to have something in the meantime. And I do want to also express that, this really is a true partnership between California League of Schools and Mastery Coding. So Alan didn't have to bring this opportunity to us. He could be selling this to California schools without us. And so we appreciate that. However, we are bringing our name and our database to the game. And so we have already signed up 21 schools, believe it or not, in a matter of 2 months. And so we are also giving that business to Alan. So we feel that, this is really a win-win, and it is a true partnership. So again, if you have,
I saw that I think somebody had their hand raised, Kathy.
oh, I'm sorry, I don't see that. Earlier, Eric Dahlstrom did have his hand raised.
Isaias had his hand up for a minute.
Oh, Isaias, would you like to say something? Can I?
His question was, can we see a demonstration?
Oh.
Oh, can you, well, we could log into the,
I can provide everybody demo site access. I can do a private webinar. I mean, look, I can ride on horseback out to your school, right? With an Xbox on my back. Like, let me know what I can do to support Kathy and Katie, who I work with a lot of professionals across the nation. These guys are fighting for the 40-year survival of the organization. Kathy, how long have you been with the organization now?
28 years, 28 over 40.
Right? Like that's kind of it right there. So, and here's another thing. I like I said, doing a demo, I could log in right now if everybody just kind of want to see what they get. I could do a deep dive scheduled for another time if you want to bring your stakeholders, so that like the people, getting the buy-in, I know is a big thing. And then, so yeah, we see like Bree say, invite some teachers. So maybe we put another private webinar for the board where they bring in and they can see and ask questions. We've got, one of the things though also is that I will offer, which probably Kathy doesn't even know, like if you bring multiple schools from your district, I'll give you an extra discount, right? So we'll like, if that, whatever you guys need to get it, school-wide, site-wide, district-wide, this and that, like for us, it's just about getting the footprint, because the other thing is that Kathy and Katie are working really hard on trying to pump oxygen into the financial coffers through sponsorship. So the more participants in schools that are involved, the better and easier it is for them to go raise sponsorship funds, and there's a second channel of viability to keep it alive. Now, if you have any vision right now, you realize esports are here to stay, and people are building esports stadiums across the state right now. And this is not like a one-off thing. This is the first year of an inaugural tournament that we could see being something that is an immense revenue generator 3-5 years from now, where there's 250 schools participating with a grand finale. And I mean, this is California, right? So it's a reimagination of the California League of Schools finding a way to become sustainable for the years ahead.
Exactly. We see the potential for the long run. And that's why right now, so we are finishing up our fall conference this week. I am going to invite all of you to attend tomorrow's closing session is from 4 to 5 with Ben Cogswell. If you haven't seen him yet, it's spectacular. And all board members can attend all of our events for free. So we welcome you to do that. But once we are done with that, we don't have any other virtual events planned. We are looking to possibly do one in the spring to honor the State Educator of the Year. We do still want to do that, and the Schools to Watch in the spring. But between now and then, without any other virtual events coming up, our focus is going to be to promote California League of Esports. And so that promotion starts with you, with our board. So that's why we've asked you here today, and that's why we really appreciate you being here. And like Alan mentioned, that on our website, also on it, leagueofschools.org/esports, you can set up a demo account. There's a button right there so that you guys can do this on your own time, see what the interface is like. There's more information there. You can always email myself. We'll put Alan, if you wouldn't mind even putting your email address in the chat. If you'd like to email Alan directly, you can always reach out to him and we can answer any questions. And yeah, and we will also make the video available tomorrow. So we've gone a little bit over. Unless anyone has any other questions, we're going to let you go with our much appreciation. So thank you, Alan, and thank you, Katie, and thank you, Mr. Curry, for being on with us. And yes, and have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Alan, you're on mute.
But I was going to say, before we go, there's a fellow Alan on the call who spells his name the same way I spell mine. And
Yes.
he said, I'll pay $29.95 to see you ride the horse.